Tales told in Granny T's fort. Granny T and the picnic of memories. The blanket fort smelled like snacks tonight. Not dinner snacks, fort snacks. The kind that felt special just because you were eating them on a blanket floor. Granny T had spread out a soft quilt like a picnic blanket in the middle of the fort. On top were tiny plates and napkins, a bowl of grapes, cheese crackers, apple slices, and a stack of little cookies shaped like stars. Peyton crawled in first, of course. She stopped the second she saw the picnic. Her eyes widened. "Oh," she whispered, like the fort had surprised her in the nicest way. She immediately began checking things. The grapes were in a circle. The crackers were stacked neatly. The napkins were folded like triangles. Peyton nodded once, satisfied. "It's organized," she said softly. Jessie crawled in next, sniffed the air, and said suspiciously, "Is this a trick?" Granny T laughed quietly from her cozy chair. "No tricks," she promised. Roland slid into the fort after Jessie, quiet as a bookmark returning to its page. He noticed the cookies first. He didn't say anything. He just stared at them with the seriousness of a kid who respected baked goods. Oliver crawled in last. He paused at the entrance, checking that everyone fit, everyone had space, everyone was comfortable. Then he noticed the picnic. His face lit up. "Oh," he said, "a fort picnic." He scooted a plate closer to Jessie without being asked, then one closer to Roland. Then he straightened a napkin Peyton had already straightened. Peyton stared at him. Oliver froze. "Sorry," he whispered. Peyton blinked, then smiled a little. "It's okay," she said. "I was just going to do that." Oliver relaxed. Granny T held her lantern in her lap. It was unlit. The fort was already warm and safe without it. For a moment, everyone simply ate. Quiet chewing, tiny crunches, the soft rustle of napkins. Then Granny T spoke, voice gentle as the quilt. "Tonight," she said, "I thought we might do something different." Jessie's eyebrows lifted. "Different how?" Granny T smiled. "No new creature," she said. "No new spell. No new mysterious library." Peyton looked up quickly. "No new door?" she asked, half relieved, half disappointed. Granny T chuckled softly. "Not tonight," she said. "Tonight we remember." Roland blinked slowly. "Remember what?" Granny T's eyes moved across all four kids. "What you've learned," she said, "and which creatures you liked the most." Jessie immediately sat up straighter. "Oh, I know mine," he announced. Oliver smiled. "Me too." Peyton hugged her pillow slightly closer. "I think I know," she whispered. Roland didn't answer, but his eyes stayed on Granny T, which meant he was listening with his whole self. Granny T turned the lantern slightly in her hands, not lighting it, just holding it like a warm thought. "Sometimes," she said softly, "our hearts learn things slowly. And sometimes," she added, "we don't notice what we've learned until we look back." She smiled. "So tonight, we'll look back." Jessie chewed a cracker and pointed at Granny T with it. "Is this like a quiz?" Granny T laughed. "No quizzes," she promised. "Just a picnic and a little talking." Jessie relaxed. "Okay, good," Peyton whispered. "Talking is fine." Oliver nodded eagerly. Roland quietly took a cookie shaped like a star. Granny T leaned forward a little. "All right," she said. "First question." The kids all looked up. Granny T's voice stayed calm and cozy. "Who remembers Jesse's stories?" Jesse immediately raised his hand. "Me," he said loudly. Peyton winced slightly. Jesse lowered his voice. "Me." Granny T smiled. "And what did Jesse learn?" she asked. Jesse frowned like he didn't want to say it. Then he mumbled, "Pause." Granny T nodded encouraging. Jesse sighed dramatically like the truth was annoying. "Pause," he said again, clearer, "and breathe and name it." Granny T smiled warmly. "That's right," she said. Peyton whispered, "Cooling stone." Jesse nodded. "Cooling stone," he said, like he was proud of it, even if he didn't want anyone to know. Granny T's eyes twinkled. "And what creature helped you?" she asked. Jesse didn't even hesitate. "The firekeeper fox," he said. Oliver smiled. "He was cool." Jesse's eyes narrowed. "He was not cool." He paused, then added grudgingly, "He was helpful." Granny T chuckled. Jesse picked up a grape and said, quieter, "I used the cooling stone today." Everyone looked at him. Jesse's cheeks warmed. He shrugged. "Jesse?" Peyton whispered, impressed. "What happened?" Jesse stared at his grape like it was suddenly interesting. "I wanted to yell," he admitted, "and I didn't." Oliver's face softened immediately. "That's huge," Oliver said. Jesse shrugged harder. "It was medium huge." Granny T's voice turned extra gentle. "That's brave," she said. Jesse nodded once. Then he muttered, "The fox would have been mad at me if I didn't." Granny T smiled. "Sometimes," she said, "we do brave things for ourselves. And sometimes we do them for the fox." Jesse smirked. Granny T turned to Peyton. "And Peyton?" she asked softly. "What did you learn?" Peyton's fingers played with her napkin. She took a deep breath, then whispered, "I learned I don't have to answer every what if." Granny T nodded. "And what did you say to your storm?" she asked. Peyton's eyes lifted. She spoke a little clearer. "I hear you," she said, "but not right now." Jesse pointed at her with a cookie. "That one's my favorite," he said, "because it sounds like you're talking to a tiny boss." Peyton giggled. "It kind of is," she admitted. Roland's quiet voice drifted out. "It's like you're being kind to your brain." Peyton blinked at him, then nodded slowly. "Yeah," she whispered. "Exactly." Granny T smiled. "And what creature helped you?" she asked. Peyton's face softened instantly. "The owl," she said, "with the glasses." "And the scarf," Oliver added. Peyton nodded. "And the scarf." Jesse leaned closer. "I still think the weather library has too many jars," he said. Peyton frowned. "That's the point." Jesse shrugged. "It's stressful." Peyton smiled anyway. "I used my holding jar today," she admitted. Oliver leaned in. "You did?" Peyton nodded. "My brain was making lists," she whispered, "and I started feeling squishy inside." Jesse nodded. "Like bad squishy?" Peyton nodded. "So I said." Peyton took a breath. "I hear you. Not right now. And I just did one thing at a time." Granny T's eyes softened. That's exactly it, she said. Peyton's shoulders dropped, like the memory itself helped. Granny T looked at Roland. And Roland, she asked softly, what did you learn? Roland didn't answer right away. He stared at his cookie. Then he whispered, I learned I don't have to disappear. The fort went quiet, not uncomfortable quiet, just respectful. Granny T nodded slowly. And what was your brave sentence? She asked. Roland swallowed. His voice was quiet but steady. I have something to say. Oliver's face softened instantly. Peyton's eyes widened. Jesse blinked, like that sentence made his chest feel weird. Granny T smiled. And what creature helped you? She asked. Roland's eyes flicked up. The cat, he whispered, the one with the lantern eyes. Jesse nodded slowly. That cat was kinda awesome. Roland nodded once. Then he whispered, almost like a secret. I liked the Whisper House too. Peyton leaned in. I liked that it said quiet is welcome here, she whispered. Roland nodded. Oliver's voice softened. I think quiet kids should have more places like that, he said. Roland blinked, then he whispered, I used my courage bell today. Everyone looked at him, even Jesse. Roland's cheeks warmed. He looked down. I was trying to talk, he said, and someone talked over me. Peyton's mouth fell open. Oh no. Roland shrugged, small but honest. So I said, he swallowed, I have something to say. Jesse's eyebrows lifted. And then what? He asked. Roland's voice stayed quiet, but stronger. They listened. Granny T smiled like her heart was full. That, she said softly, is what courage looks like. Roland didn't smile big, but his mouth curved just a little, and in the fort, that was plenty. Granny T turned to Oliver. And Oliver, she asked gently, what did you learn? Oliver's face brightened, then softened, then got a little nervous. He looked down at his hands. I learned I don't have to fix everything. Granny T nodded. And what was your kind no? She asked. Oliver swallowed, then said quietly, I want to help, but I need a break. Jesse immediately nodded. That's a good one, he said. Peyton whispered, it's polite. Roland murmured, it's brave. Oliver blinked fast. Granny T smiled. And what creature helped you? She asked. Oliver's face lit up. The yes collector, he said. Jesse squinted. I still don't trust it. Oliver giggled. It's not bad, he said. It just thought I had endless yeses. Peyton whispered. It was confused. Jesse huffed. Well, it should be less confusing. Granny T laughed softly. Oliver leaned forward. I used my kind no today, he admitted. Peyton's eyes widened. You did? Oliver nodded. Someone asked me to do something, he said. And I didn't want to. And I felt the yes trying to jump out of my mouth. Jesse nodded. That happens. Oliver whispered. But I paused. He looked at Granny T, then said softly but steady, I want to help, but I need a break. The fort went quiet. Then Peyton smiled. Were they mad? She asked. Oliver hesitated, then admitted they were a little disappointed. Peyton's worry flickered. Oliver quickly added, but then they said okay. And then, Oliver whispered, I didn't feel like I was disappearing. Granny T's eyes softened. That's what boundaries do, she said gently. They keep your kindness from running out. Oliver nodded, like he was saving that sentence in his pocket. Granny T clapped her hands softly once. All right, she said with a smile. Now, the important question. Jessie sat up. Yes! Peyton whispered. Important? Granny T nodded. Favorite creature, she said. Jessie immediately pointed. Firekeeper Fox, he declared. Peyton lifted her hand. Owl librarian, she said. Roland whispered. Lantern cat. Oliver smiled. Yes, collector, he said. Jessie crossed his arms. My creature is the best, he said. Peyton frowned. No, mine is the wisest. Jessie scoffed. Mine is the strongest. Roland whispered. Mine can see quiet kids. Everyone paused. Jessie blinked. Peyton's face softened. Oliver nodded. That's actually really cool, Oliver said gently. Roland's cheeks warmed. Then Jessie huffed. Fine, he said. That is cool. Granny T smiled like she'd just watched something important happen. Not a fight, not a lesson, just understanding. Granny T leaned forward slightly. You know, she said softly, I think your favorite creature is the one you needed most. Peyton blinked. Jessie frowned. Oliver tilted his head. Roland looked down, thinking. Granny T smiled. And the best part, she whispered, is that they're all still there. Peyton's eyes widened. Where? She asked. Granny T tapped her chest gently. In here, she said. And here, she added, tapping her temple. And right here, she finished, tapping the lantern. Jessie whispered, even the fox? Granny T nodded solemnly. Especially the fox, she said. Jessie smiled, small but real. Granny T reached into a little basket beside her chair. She pulled out 4 tiny objects and set them on the picnic quilt. Peyton gasped. What are those? She whispered. Granny T smiled. 4 keepsakes, she said. She slid one toward Jessie, a smooth black stone with a tiny carved symbol. Jessie picked it up like it was precious. My cooling stone, he whispered. Granny T slid one toward Peyton, a tiny jar charm with a little label tied to it. Not right now. Peyton's eyes stung. My holding jar, she whispered. Granny T slid one toward Roland, a silver bell on a moon-colored ribbon. Roland stared like he couldn't believe it was real. The courage bell, he whispered. Granny T slid one toward Oliver, a tiny wooden sign. Kind no. Oliver held it gently, like it was made of paper. Granny T's voice turned extra soft. These aren't magic because they're special objects, she said. They're magic because you practiced. Peyton hugged her charm. Roland wrapped the ribbon around his finger. Jessie held his stone to his chest for 1 second. Oliver traced the words kind no with his thumb. Granny T smiled. You're learning, she whispered, all of you. The picnic quieted again, not because anyone was sad, because everyone felt full, full of snacks, full of warmth, full of the kind of tired that meant you were safe. Granny T turned the lantern down low until it looked like a tiny golden star. She reached out and gave the closest sleeping bag a gentle pat. Good, she murmured. That's better. Then, in her softest voice, close your eyes, my loves. You're safe. You're loved. You're home.